Saw the Niners stomp the Bears. It was Purdy, Garendo, Kittle, Jennings. It was not a whole lot of Deebo. And after the game, he was, all week, for a couple of weeks, people have been asking him, like, so what's going on, man? And not really producing like you normally do. And he would just kind of stand there and not answer the question or answer with 2 words. He was waiting for the right time to tweet, and he was thinking of the right words to say. And what he tweeted was 16 minutes ago, not struggling at all, just not getting the ball, with about 8 exclamation points and a shrugging emoji. What do you think of Deebo Samuel's take on Deebo Samuel?
He's very consistent. I'll say that. Go look at Deebo's card this year. Yesterday, as a runner, he averaged 2.6 yards per carry. And if you look at what he's averaged for the year, that's pretty much in line with what he's averaged for the year. He averages about 2 yards a carry. So if he's not struggling, why is he averaging 2 yards a carry? He has had 12 games played, 32 carries, 92 yards. So for the year, he's averaged 2.9 a carry. And in this game, he averaged basically 2.9 a carry. So he's not struggling. He's doing exactly what he does, but it's not very much.
And it's like, he says he's not, he said, what did he said? He's not getting the ball. Well, he's the kick returner. He's getting the ball there. I mean, it seems like the Niners are actually going out of their way to give him the ball. They keep handing it to him, and that hasn't worked in years. That he's the kick returner, and he's getting like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 targets a game, even though his route tree is non-existent at this point. It seems like when he gets a target, it's a screen that goes nowhere, or the occasional play action crossing route, which once a month will get him for 20 to 30 yards, like yesterday.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really separate against man coverage. If you see a lot of man coverage, you don't see him. Now, he might be a little frustrated, Grant, because the Bears didn't play a lot of man coverage. The Bears played a lot of zone coverage, and he still didn't do much against the zone. He had 2 catches and only 3 targets. So what's he saying? Is he saying that some of Kittle's 6 targets should have come his way, or some of Jennings' 8 targets should have come his way? I mean, he got the 3rd most targets of anybody on the team, and he caught 2 of the 3. I was expecting him. I was kind of telling some people, hey, play Deebo in individual fantasy this week, because our daily fantasy, because I thought, you know what, there's a very good chance he's going to go off, but it didn't happen. So I just think he's lost a step, and he's lost quickness, and he's lost he's got big build-up speed. So he's good if you give him like a kickoff return. He's got 4 or 5 steps. I think he's a return man at this point. I don't think he's got the same quickness or the same acceleration.
Yeah, he doesn't have explosion. He doesn't have a big catch radius. He doesn't beat man-to-man coverage. And on this team, you got George Kittle, who's having a career year. I mean, when Purdy targets him, his quarterback rating is like 145. You got Jennings, who's having a career year. When Purdy targets him, his quarterback rating is about 130. And then Deebo, when he's targeted, his quarterback rating is about 89. So it seems like the Niners can't target Kittle and Jennings enough. And every time they try to force the ball to Deebo, it's almost like doing the defense a favor. Like at this point, I'd rather throw a screen pass to Garendo than Deebo.
Well, I mean, and it would be one thing if like Ricky Pearsall or, some other Cowing or Conley or, Ronnie Bell or somebody that wasn't, another wide receiver was taking his workload. It's not, I mean, and what's Deebo really insinuating? Is he insinuating that he's open and that Brock Purdy doesn't want to throw it to him? I mean, that's kind of preposterous. We're not seeing Ricky Pearsall say, hey, Brock's not throwing it enough to me, and he was only targeted twice all day.
I mean, I think the Niners target distribution is actually making sense right now. It should be Kittle and Jennings, 1A and 1B. They should get by far the most targets. And then Deebo's, in there with the rest of them. Juszczyk, Garendo, Cowing, Pearsall. Someone that defenses have to account for. You could keep him honest with him, but not someone you target more than 2 or 3 times a game. And really, 3 feels like it's pushing at this point.
I mean, he's a receiver. I mean, his longest gainer on the game was 8 yards. He had an 8-yard run. He had a 3-yard reception. Or well, no, let's see. He had that
20-yard catch early in the game against zone.
Reception. That's right. He had 20.
If you play zone, he might get you. But if you play man, he's pretty much out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I thought, no more. I mean, we said this a month ago. No more Deebo runs. Why? Because they're wasted plays. They're not giving you anything. You're falling behind the chains when you hand the ball to Deebo. He's giving you 2.5 yards, less than 3 yards a carry as a runner. So I would argue that he didn't deserve the 5 carries that he got.
Right.
I'd rather, truth be told, I'd rather Guerendo get 18 carries and Deebo get 2 carries, not 5.
I'd rather them hand off to Patrick Taylor Jr. than Deebo Samuel.
Of course. He averages more yards per carry.
Yeah, I bet you Israel Abanikanda would be a better option than Deebo Samuel at this point. So when he says he's not getting the ball, he is getting the ball. How many ways can you get him the ball? I mean, handing it to him is the easiest way. Screens aren't working. He doesn't have a route tree. And I just feel like I think he needs to go. I think this has to be his last season on the team. He seems like a malcontent. He was the one that got in the fight with the teammate. It seems like they have this young core that's emerging, and he's not really a part of it. He seems like one of the older players on the team who's declining.
If it was up to me, I just based on what I've seen, I'd switch a couple of the roles on this offense. For example, I would use Deebo a lot more as a returner. Okay, use him as a kick returner, but use him as a punt returner.
Why not?
Use him as a returner. Why?
Yeah.
Because Jacob Cowing looks nervous and fidgety and
diving at the ground.
He can't keep his feet and he doesn't look comfortable, and he makes me nervous watching him. He's got to make Schneider nervous, thinking he's going to cost him his job. So I would use Cowing more from scrimmage as a downfield threat. Go to more 3 wides, use him down the field. I like him down the field more, Grant, because you throw the ball down the field to this guy. 1, he's going to catch it. 2, he's going to separate. And 3, the kind of size of the players down the field are generally smaller, and you're not going to take those big hits. As a punt returner, he could get hit by a lineman, a linebacker. He looks like he's ready to fumble. He doesn't look right. So I would say Deebo, here's a few more touches as a punt returner. And Cowing, here's a few more, routes as a receiver. That's the change. That's the only change I'd make.